Welcome to Bank in the Kitchen. It's another beautiful day for yet another beautiful meal. Today we're preparing tomato stew. Like I always say, be your own chef. Tomato stew is basically known to Ghanaians and Nigerians and part of Africa. We have our ingredients as you see the list on the screen. We're going to start off with our chicken. We're going to season and stock our chicken. First of all, we put our chicken and we have to put our already prepared stock, ingredients, and a little bit of seasoning. So we put a little bit of water here, and then we're going to use about half of the already prepared seasoning. The reason we're using half of it is because we're going to use the other half to start up with the stew. So here we put about half of it, and once we've done that, then we can go ahead and add our seasoning powder, or if you have Maggi or any other one that you have, whether it's Knorr, whatever seasoning you have, depending on what taste you want. You can use a chicken stock, even if you want beef stock, it's up to you. Use the one that you like. Now, once the chicken is on fire, what we have to do is to wait until that is fully cooked. Once we've cooked it halfway through, we stir it a little bit, and if in case it needs a little bit of water, you can add it. If you don't, then you go ahead and cook it. Now, once we're done with the cooking, we just have to get it off the sauce, and we're going to keep the remaining sauce to spice up our stew. So we get the chicken out, and it's ready to be fried. Now we have to preheat our oil, and once it's already heated, then we put the chicken. So once it's a little bit heated, you can put your chicken, and then you're ready to go. It's good to use a frying pan that it's non-sticky. Just have to control the heat and keep turning until you see it lightly brown or brown to your taste or to your favorite. Everyone has the way they want their own chicken. People have usually want it very brown or light brownish. Now you need to know that you could also use beef, fish, whatever it is that you want to use. But here we're using chicken. Once our chicken is done, we're going to use the same oil to fry our already seasoned sardine fish. The reason we're using the same oil because we're going to use the same oil to prepare the stew. Now at the end of frying all this, it's going to make the oil have a good taste and good flavor. So we're using the same oil. You don't have to overheat the oil because once it's overheated, it's going to burn and have turn into black, which is not going to be good for the start of the stew. So on a medium-low heat, fry the fish. Once you've done with the frying of the fish, you can decide to sieve your oil just to get part of the components that will be a little bit burned out. Once we're done with that, we put our oil and then our onion goes right in. Now we use about half of the onion, not all of them, because we're going to put the other half at the end of preparing the stew, which makes us have a little bit of crispy fresh onions in it. Onion has to be halfway cooked, and we add our seasoning that we kept. Then once we put that in, we stir, incorporate it, and once everything is incorporated, we have to cook it until we know that our stock is well cooked. At the end of cooking it, knowing that it's perfectly well cooked, see as it's a little bit brownish, it looks brown, dark brown, then you know that our stock is well cooked. And then from here, we have to keep on adding the rest of the things that we want to add, which we start off with the tinned tomatoes, or the tomato paste as it's called some other part of the world. But we squeeze everything in there, and we start to incorporate. Now when you're stirring, you don't have to be stirring all angles. You can just flip it around, flip it there, here and there, to make sure that everything is mixed. Basically depend on the type of tomato paste that you're using. Some are light, some are thicker. If it's too thick, you can add a little bit of water, but in this case ours is not too thick, so we're not gonna add water. We're just gonna stay and then keep cooking. At the point that it's cooked and a little bit thicker, then what we need to do is to add the stock. Now one thing that you might have noticed is that we didn't put any salt or kind of Maggi or any other seasoning here, because we've got lots of salt from the chicken stock that we already have. So after putting in our chicken stock, if we need to add salt, then we will add salt, but now we won't add salt. So here we go with this chicken stock. After our tomato paste is well cooked, not 100% cooked, but it's well cooked, as you can see here, we add the chicken stock and make sure that we put everything, we squeeze everything, because losing some, we're losing taste. And put everything in here, and then we mix. It's the same if you're using beef or whatever. You just put the stock and mix it to incorporate. Like I said, you don't need to rush in mixing it. Just flip it side and side, over and over, until you know that it's well incorporated. And then you let it cook. Let it sit, cook for a while, until you know that the stock is very well incorporated into the stew. Now at that point, then we have to keep adding the rest of the stuff. Here we're gonna add our plum tomatoes, or other ways you can use fresh cut or sliced tomatoes. So you put it in here, and then you make sure you stay the same way. At this point where you put the plum tomato, you have to make sure that the tomato paste is well cooked, because it doesn't take long to cook the plum tomato, or even if it's fresh diced tomatoes. And always you squeeze everything in, because you lose some, you lose taste. Now once we put this in, we have to let it cook to thicken up. At this point you can add your stock or crayfish or whatever it is that you have. After that, if you want salt, you can add more, and then add your freshly sliced onions. From here you can add your chicken, and if you want to add your sardines or fish, you can do so, but in my case I'm not adding the sardine, so I will leave mine to put it aside, and also serves as a very nice form of decorating your stew or rice or food at the end of the day. So yeah, that's about it. This is how our stew looks at the end of the day, and you can add a little bit more oil if you want, or if you had leftover oil, just to make it look a little better. And that's it. Our stew is ready. What we have to do now is get it off fire, and it's ready to serve. So now this is a stew served with our rice, and as you can see, it's ready to eat. So if I'm not here, you basically know what I'm doing. I'm ready and enjoying my food. That's about it. This is our stew, well prepared, easily served with our fried sardine fish, and it goes well with rice, whether it's parboiled rice, jasmine rice, basmati, or whatever it is that you're gonna serve it with. But that's the stew, simply cooked. And if you need anything more, you can request for me to cook whatever it is that you think you might want. You can just request and I'll cook it. It's very nice having you here today. I really love having to cook with you, but as at this point I have to go get busy eating. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe to stay tuned.